Wrong team and wrong emphasizes, mismatched work effort, rushed app assessments, poor landing zone design, and hidden costs. These are the 6 ways cloud migration costs go off the rails. These are the leading challenges of cloud migration according to Gartner. Now let's hear the intro and we are going to cover these 6 and many more common challenges which we are facing, which our customers are facing, you are facing, everyone is facing during the migration to cloud.
Welcome to the OTech Talks podcast, where it's all about working on technologies. You will hear the latest tech information, and your host, Kashif Manzoor, brings together product overviews, how-tos, best practices, tips and tricks, and troubleshooting techniques.
Welcome to OTech Talks podcast. Your host, Kashif Manzoor, is with you. Today's session number is 96. It's part of Open Tech Talks. Open Tech Talks is your weekly sandbox for technology insights, experimentation, and inspiration with the primary objective of learning and sharing. If you are new to the show, welcome to the show. Warm welcome. If you're existing audience, if you're existing community fellow, if you're existing my friend, colleague, thank you so much for being with me and sharing your feedback, which is inspiring and inspiring and encouraging me to keep putting efforts to learn and share together. Today's our topic is on the leading challenges of cloud migration. If you recall our previous sessions till now, what we have done is we covered how to start the cloud migration, learning the basics, getting started, how to do workload migration to cloud. Then when you start the cloud migration, the first step was cloud migration workload assessment. And when you do the workload assessment, then the question starts coming in my mind, how to develop a cloud migration strategy. Definitely, that's also a key pillar. In this session, I thought let's discuss what are the common cloud migration challenges which we are facing, which number of customers are going through. So keeping in that context, the leading challenges, the common challenges, I will try to address as many as I have documented or I have researched upon it or I have discussed during my meetings with the customers or during colleagues. Maybe few are left, but we will keep coming back and we will continue updating such challenges which are become like a dictionary or like a Wikipedia for us to come and refer back. Now, what we will do, we will also share some experience when those challenges are coming, how the organizations are doing, or what could be done or what can be done. So, cloud migration and how we are dividing this session. First is some basics that, what's happening in the cloud migration space. And then we'll go to each challenge. If it's possible to complete in this session, we will do it. Otherwise, we will divide it into two parts. I'm not sure how long it's gonna be. So let's dive into the more details. Now, cloud migration is challenging, and this is what we discussed during our previous session when we were doing assessment, getting started, and from a strategic point of view. And we understand it's challenging, it's cumbersome, and it's risky for traditional organizations who are relying on in-house custom-built systems, or even if they are using any packaged applications or off-the-shelf application which they bought it from different vendors. And these challenges are to support achieving revenue from years on years, right? So that's what all the traditional organizations were doing it. And today I will be discussing a wide variety of challenges organizations are facing while performing or planning for cloud migration. These typical challenges are talks of every boardroom and the agenda of the meetings, and even if you observe now, some conferences started back after post COVID. So, and in person or virtual, these are the common agenda items you will see in the leading conferences. And we understand there is, no doubt that workload migration to the cloud is helping organizations to reduce operating costs and build integrated and automated IT infrastructure. So there's no doubt about it. And there are some statistics we will go through before going into challenges. So I'm naming it, these are some facts on public cloud, what is happening in the current situation, and how different industry leaders and analysts are talking about the trends and the migration to cloud, what percentage is happening. So let's go through some facts. The global public cloud computing market is continuing to grow, and according to Statista, a report of August 14, 2021, it will be $482 billion in 2022. And all these reports links will be available in the show notes as a reference. So you don't need to worry about and take notes on it. Then IDG 2020 Cloud Computing Study reveals that 92% of the organizations are somewhat in the cloud. It means they are using one or more applications or system services from the cloud, or they already migrated or moved in the cloud, 92%. According to the Worldwide Enterprise Cloud Strategy 2017 and 2020 report by again Statista, 82% of the respondents reported that they had deployed hybrid cloud strategy in their organizations. Now from 92% somewhat, now the hybrid cloud strategy is 82%. Gartner's global forecast for public cloud end user spending will grow 23.1% in 2021 to reach $332.3 billion, compares to $270 billion in 2020. And if we talk about these what we call as a comparison, so what this comparison shows to us is from a statistics point of view, how they did it. The market is, they compared it 2020, 2021 and 2022. And the major categories were cloud business processes services, cloud application infrastructure services, cloud application services SaaS, cloud management and security services, and cloud system infrastructure services IaaS, desktop as a services. So all these are put together, and total market, if in 2020 it was to 270, then it reached to according to 332 in the 2021, and 2022 it will be 397. So $1 million basically. That's how Gartner has projected it. Again, another report from IDC report on global public cloud services, $312 billion in 2020. Cloud computing market report published by Markets and Markets. The global cloud computing market size is expected to grow from USD 371.4 billion in 2020 to USD 832.1 billion by 2025. And so why I'm sharing, these are numbers talking about that everything is moving to cloud. And if we link this to another perspective, from a share of corporate data stored in the cloud in organizations worldwide from 2015 to 2021, this report published by Statista, as of 2021, around 50% of full corporate data is stored in the cloud. 50%. This share reached 30% in 2015 and has continued to grow as companies increasingly shift their resources into cloud environments in the hope of improving security and reliability next to advancing business agility. So these are the statistics which we have gone through that are contributing, and that they are clearly stating that how the cloud is moving and how the organizations are adopting to that one. So there's no doubt on it. Now, definitely, there are leading how to secure and optimize your cloud migration. You have done a very challenging task in hand to migrate to the cloud and do it securely and efficiently. If it is not fully optimized and performed correctly, your dream of digital transformation in an organization can hit roadblocks, pitfalls, right? Now, let's go into the challenges. So what we will do, we will share some of the common challenges which I see during the cloud migrations. These are based on observations, reading a wide variety of articles. The example is which I've mentioned it from a cloud statistics point of view. And I try my best to add into references whatever the article I refer during the conversation. And so this is based on discussion with the IT, friends, infrastructure, colleagues in the extended and broader community of IT professionals, or during my professional work as a cloud architect to work with different customers in the region. So what I will be doing is to mention all the typical challenges, and then I will try to share the perspective of how you can overcome, or what could be the strategy to address them, or how the organizations are doing it. These could be starting from which workloads to be moved to, what should be the order of the migration, to how we will have reliability and performance of business critical services on the cloud, to how I will implement required levels of security controls and regulatory compliance, to who is my cloud vendor, and this cloud migration must not disrupt my existing IT services, and so on, so on. Now, according to Gartner, the article published, they have beautifully categorized into 6 ways of cloud migration challenges. And I will start from here, and then we will go into more details. Now, these 6 ways cloud migration challenges, the first one was talking about wrong team, inexperienced partner, untrained staff, wrong emphasis. Too much focus on lift and shift, or too little focus on adapting to the cloud. Mistimed work effort, costs aren't incurred when expected, or budget realignment delays. Rushed up assessments, missed interdependencies, wrong migration sequencing. If you remember, or if you recall, or if you're new to the session, go back and attend the session on cloud migration assessment. That was very important. And that's one of the rushed up app assessment, that you didn't properly have inventory, you didn't went through in a detail that which application is right fit for out of the 6 methodologies of migration, or 5 R's, which are commonly known as that. Is it platforming, is it lift and shift, or is it re-architecting? All those are covered in the earlier sessions. Poor landing zone design. And if you refer to our session number 95, we will talk about CIS, Computer Internet Society guidelines on securing and the security for the cloud vendors. And we spoke on different cloud vendors. They provide the guidelines on the landing zone design. What are the important factors you need to keep in mind? And like Oracle, they are providing you the Terraform scripts to securely establish and build your landing zone. That's hard to manage and secure, higher operating costs. So those are the guidelines are available from almost major vendors. So there are hidden costs, organization transformation. So these are the 6 one. All right. So now let's start from the first one. I think. Do you have a well-defined, documented cloud migration strategy? That's the key question to come in your mind. And for that, I will touch base today, but I think I would suggest that you go ahead and listen another session number 94, and all these sessions are available on www.otechtalks.tv under the podcast. Session 94 is how to develop a cloud migration strategy. So that's and even this one is also talking about as a challenge. Where you will learn about rehosting, refactoring, revising, rebuild, or replacing different strategies. But eventually, this is one of the leading challenge that, do you have in your organization the cloud migration strategy? And sometimes what happens, business just without planning, they start cloud migration. And this require a very deliberation within the business and your IT infrastructure team and IT as an organization. You don't need to, think about like, am I going to lift and shift? Am I going to app modernization or refactoring or replatforming? All these are the challenges which you need to do. And you need to put a, special strategy in place how you will be doing it. So if we talk about on that one, so this is a common challenge. So as you will listen that podcast, but for a summarizing the situation here, you need to have a detailed migration strategy, analyzing your current infrastructure and business objectives with the help to fit into the broader business strategy of your organization. A well thought strategy will enable you that to transition from one application to another application, and then it will help you to decide which application or system need to be prioritized first. So this, you need to indicate the roadmap of each system, each application. That's why I said it's need to be a workload centric approach. Once you have already with that, then you go ahead and split your entire strategy into various steps to make the transition process as seamless as possible. And then don't forget to include the processing cost, data, and applications that need to migrate, as well as costs associated with the downtime. So all these, you'll put it as a solution or as a work around a strategy for your cloud migration strategy. So that's the first challenge which we are facing during the cloud migration. Our second challenge which we are seeing as a common challenge and the leading challenge, how you see your requirements for data security and compliance. And this is one of the primary barriers to any cloud migration is data security concerns and compliance. And because the organizations still hesitant to hand over their private data to the cloud vendors, despite the fact and the industry trends, there is a question in mind that what about the cloud security? What about the compliance? And these questions comes in mind. You need to migrating to the cloud may require businesses to change security and compliance approvals, right? And when company needs to move data to the cloud, they're required to comply with new standards and acquire licenses that could be, based on geographical or industry based, and even from country to country, because some countries want in country or they don't want to get geographically the data out of the country, and some like medical or the insurance or the financial sectors they also don't allow. So all these are the privacy and data security challenge, right? So so how you will you mitigate this one? So that's we understand there's a question on that one, and what we need to, where will they store the data? These are the common questions comes in any person's mind. Does their data have end-to-end encryption? What process do they use to migrate data from the cloud? Are there security policies and procedures in place? Are they compliant with the various security regulations like HIPAA, ISO, PCI, DSS? All these are different security guidelines. Now, what is happening? Even cloud vendors are what I can say is has grown up and or are matured enough that they are coming to different organizations and they are addressing their common security challenges. The example I gave CIS from security, internet security, from CIS point of view, that they have released 18 controls for cloud vendors or for all the organizations that to ensure the data for the controls and the guards, or which we call as the safeguards, which need to apply to and based on the industry experts. Similarly, all the vendors now coming and presenting to different customers based on their, either they have a strategy to expand their data center locations so that the data centers are available to different country regions, or they are coming with these different cloud options where they will put their infrastructure machines in customer premises and as a physical location, but vendors will manage, the cloud providers will manage those spots and those, for example, dedicated regions by Oracle, where data Exadata cloud at customer side, that customer gives the space, the rack, the physical space, and the rest is like a cloud, public cloud from a vendor's point of view. They managed it. So there are different solutions to that one, right? So by asking these questions, that okay, what are the industry guidelines and security practices you need it, cloud vendors will be able to support. And that's what as in cloud architect, I'm meeting to customers and going and now we are going with a set of questions and set of controls which any cloud vendor provides, so that you don't need to worry about it. That okay, what are the compliance and security requirements you have based on the industry, based on the sector. It's a financial sector or healthcare or all that one. So that's the common second our challenge. The challenge is there, but from a customer point of view, you need to, from IT professional, system admin, infrastructure, security heads, from your point of view, you need to ask the right, get the right information, that how they're ensuring, how they are using the encryption, how they are enabling the data at rest or data at, encryption at rest or in transit, or what are the other security controls and the products available from our cloud vendors, which they are proposing to implement it, including, identity management solution and key management solutions and all that one. So with these controls, if you put in place, this concern and the challenge can be addressed. And it will help even from a compliance point of view to get the checkbox that the security and compliance readiness from the concerned authorities. Third point, let's move to our third point, which is do you have a clarity on cost of cloud migration process? Now, cost is another key aspects to that one. Migrating to the cloud, it can be costly, and if you are unable to analyze and put the right effort to size it, to know what will be your future state cost. Right. So you need to have all the information so that you know when you're planning for the cloud migration. No doubt you want to increase the efficiency. You want to, it will help you to load the admin cost or streamline processes from a data center point of view, from a application point of view. But there are factors to it. Are you rewriting the application? I mean, it's a refactor, lift and shift. Are you investing on the tools and even the skill set of the people or your IT professionals? Is there any bandwidth cost from a telco point of view, or any direct connection between data centers and your head office or branches? How your current network is operating, right? So all these are the questions to that one. Is it some direct cost? Hardware, software licenses you need to do. Hardware, maybe there's no, or maybe on-premise. You need to have from a network point of view, on material or contracts, or from a staff point of view, IT team point of view. So all these are the factors to your cost, right? And then the another cost is migration cost. One is operating, and then one is migration itself from on-premise to cloud. But generally what we have seen that this cost is less compared to what you manage today on on-premise. That's why this is becoming and has become the factor, one of the leading factor of cloud migration. It enables and optimizes the cost from an organization's point of view, right? So definitely to reduce the cost, we need to have a proper aligned strategy. And when I say strategy, then the cost is one of the component to that one, right? So you need to examine your objectives, requirements, and then which application based on the migration strategy, is it refactoring, host, lift and shift. So one of the factor will be the cost, that how you are going to do it, right? And then is it to be like a hybrid cloud, or is it to be all the workload will be migrating to cloud? You will be exiting data center. Is it phase-wise approach, right? And if you remember the Gartner's one of the key, which they mentioned it out of 6, factors. This was one of another factor on the cost, right? So these are the things you need to keep in mind to manage and plan ahead from a commercially cloud vendors. When the cloud vendors comes to you, and then they propose different products which are equivalent to on-premise, for example, compute or network and security, and additional products which need to meet some security guidelines or compliance. What is the metrics the metrics they are using to calculate, and what is the per hour, per unit, per hour, per second, or monthly cost, flexible or pay as you go, different models. So that are the factors which you need to keep in mind. Then our fourth point is, how is your organization response to adoption and change, which I think maybe 2 years back we were worried about it, but with the COVID and with the pandemic, I think change management is already managed. What we are seeing it, the resistance which we used to see 2 years back or 1.5 years back, pre-COVID, it was huge from a business user's point of view. But now, after the COVID, change management is a response to change. Organizations and personnel and people are ready, I think, to the new IT solutions, and they want to get easiness. They are supportive. That's what we started observing it. And even if you study some good leading articles, they are also talking about the change management is no longer an issue from a human resources point of view, but definitely as a change, business change, those need to be managed. From application change point of view, trainings need to be arranged. Talent need to be. You need to have a cloud architect, a new skill set, or you need to train the existing team. Right. So these are the things you need to manage it. Frankly, right. You need to have a cloud champions within different departments, and then if this is a SaaS application, then you definitely it will be part of your project, that how you will train the users. All right. So without that, fairly change management with after the pandemic is comparably is easy. That's my comments, but and reading of the industry articles. Then another fifth hour challenge which we seeing it and common, it's like vendor lock-in, that fear of vendor lock-in. Right, that okay, if I goes to one cloud vendor, it will be switching from that cloud vendor will be difficult, and then I will stuck to that cloud vendor. Right, and so it's a vendor lock-in, and then who is the best cloud service provider or cloud vendor for me? So we will take it as a together. So definitely this is one of the way, but I think if you do the research and come up with the right vendor for you, it's Oracle or it's enterprise managed applications or AWS, Azure or Google Cloud. So and if you see normally nowadays it's a multi-cloud strategy. Most of the organizations are going with a multi-cloud strategy. That okay, large organizations primarily. So that's also another solution to that one, that organizations are adopting to multi-cloud or strategy, and even the multi-cloud and these vendors have started building some partnership between, for example, Oracle and Microsoft to to allow different customers to have the multi-cloud strategy. So to that is also one of the aspects you need to keep in mind. All right. So you need to have a decision from which is the right fit for you. From a technology point of view, your workload. That's why I am keep repeating that. Okay, the workload centric approach need to be there. There are a lot of offering are available from a cost point of view, regions availability point of view, supports point of view, and there are a lot of factors on deciding on that one. Right? Maybe some organizations may find their systems are not cloud ready. Then maybe their issue will be how to connect to the legacy systems or applications which are running in the cloud. Security, compliance, architecture, manageability, So that's a lot of factors on that one. And the fifth, the next one is, have you done proper evaluation of the current IT portfolio? And that I will not talk here, I think, because we have a full session already covered on it, which talks about cloud migration assessment. And that's a session number 93 and 91, workload migrations to cloud getting started, and cloud migration workload assessment. That session will address this topic of, have you done proper evaluation of the current IT portfolio or your inventory of your application systems, in which state they are, and what is the priority from a business point of view, which one will go first as a cloud migration, and even if you wanted to modernize, what are the logic, what are the key factors to modernize it. So all these are part of the initial discovery or assessment. I think I would suggest to go ahead and listen to those sessions. Another challenge which we are we are observing it, how to ensure minimum business downtime, minimum business disruption. That's also one of the biggest challenge for migrating to cloud. And what I believe is that's again goes back to workload centric, because some large applications require downtime. Some large applications, cloud vendors are providing the facility or the utility or the tools from a migration point of view, or seamless migration. For example, in e-business suite, Oracle Cloud Manager, is coming from Oracle product, so that as a feature, so that helps you to migrate e-business suite to cloud. But in form of, definitely based on the application, there will be some downtime or a disruption to the business. So those are typically how we managed it in on-premise world from last 30 years. I think those practices are already in place. We just need to go through and check on it. And from an infrastructure point of view, in cloud, we have the Terraform and Ansibles, and those are scripts are available, and these are helping to create thousands of applications. And if it's a cloud native or a Docker or Kubernetes, and so all those strategies are I think available, very very fine and matured enough that supports each and every organization to plan on the migration and how to minimize the risk on it. Definitely, this is one of the key aspects. But this need to go in a more technically, each application, what capabilities they have, what type of workload, and then how easy it can be done, what are the standard features or capabilities available from the product vendors, which can be leveraged to set up to migrate. And another point is on this one, migration and reducing disruption, is all the cloud vendors are putting a lot of efforts on it based on the product. If it's their product, for example, if Oracle's own product, then definitely when they are migrating to cloud, Oracle is giving the necessary tools which are required to migrate on-premise applications to cloud. So these are some of the leading challenges I think we can say are in. These are common challenges, and I think if I will refer to one of the Flextra 2021 State of the Cloud report, they published it, Cloud Migration Challenges for All Organization. And if we refer that, and I will put it in the show notes, the reference and the diagram, the percentage of all respondents based on that one, understanding app dependencies, assessing technical feasibility, assessing on-premise versus cloud costs, if you see, which we are almost all we are covering, we have covered it. Right sizing, selecting best instance, knowing implication of BYOL or bring your own license, optimizing costs post-migration, prioritizing apps to migrate the app and data, selecting the right cloud provider, managing the app post-migration. So all these are the common cloud migration challenges, and I think 80% of these challenges we have covered in till now. Right. So definitely, if we summarize our today's discussion, you need to have a right strategy or a strategic business case in place. You need to have your IT team trained or on the priority list, on the leading of the migration strategy. You need to have cloud security compliance challenges checklist in place. That's very important. What about vendor lock-in and how you're gonna, is being addressed? Then how you optimize the cost, right? And then how you do the migration step-by-step process out of that one. Are you using, automation tools, or you are just going with the traditional way of doing it? So, and then how you automate the whole migration process. Then again, this needs to go from the workload centric approach. But if your data center exit strategy, then definitely one of the key aspect is proper landing zone design. Because that's one of the key aspect and the point which leads to the overrun cost and the leading challenge from a researchers and even in practically we are observing it. And that's why if you are new to that one, I would suggest to go through and have a session on cloud security with CIS benchmarks, session number 95, which will give you head start on the landing zone design. But definitely, you need to keep, if it's a larger data center exit or moving all the workloads to cloud, then you need to have an enterprise architect who is leading as a customer from your side and even from a cloud vendor's side. They need to have a chief enterprise architect or enterprise architect in place, so that you build a holistic enterprise architecture, keeping in mind of each workload, and then come up with your future state architecture while addressing all the challenges of which we discussed today. Thank you so much, and I think with this we are gonna finish our today's session, and looking forward to talk to you during the next week. And hopefully next week we will have a guest with us. We've got one AI researcher, data scientist with us, and she will be talking about on deep fake, how we can address and what she's doing. That was an amazing conversation, and we will be talking about during the next week. Thank you so much. Have a blessed life.
Thanks for listening to the O Tech Talks podcast, and be part of Tech Talks at otechtalks.tv. It's a turf to share ideas, insights, and innovations.